What if focusing on yourself isn't selfish, but necessary for survival? Now I will tell you a story you will understand. Believe in yourself. We live in a world that constantly pressures us to be more, to do more, to be everything for everyone. But what if in this noise, the most important thing we could do is to simply focus on ourselves? What if saying no to the expectations of the world could be the very thing that allows us to thrive? This is the story of Diogenes, a man who is not afraid to defy societal norms and say yes to himself. People called him crazy, a beggar, and even a dog, but he lived freer than any king. He wasn't bound by society's chains, and in the end, he became a symbol of true freedom. Diogenes was born into privilege. His family lived in Sinope, a coastal city known for its wealth, influence, and social standing. His father was a successful banker, and as the son of such a man, Diogenes had a comfortable future. He was expected to continue the family legacy, living a life of wealth and respect. But that future was violently shattered when his father was accused of debasing the currency, a crime that in ancient Greece was not only a financial offense but a severe public disgrace. The scandal wasn't just a financial ruin, it erased the entire family from public life. In ancient Greece, where reputation and honor were everything, this was a fate worse than death. Diogenes was exiled, cast aside by the very society that had once embraced him. This rejection was not merely personal, it was societal, as Diogenes and his family were cancelled, long before the concept of cancel culture existed. But here's where the story takes a turn. Instead of being broken by the scandal, Diogenes used it to break free. He didn't allow the disgrace to define him. Instead of wallowing in shame, he saw this as an opportunity. A chance to escape the expectations of the world and live life on his own terms. This moment of downfall was the beginning of his true freedom. Exile, once seen as a punishment, became the source of his liberation. No longer was he burdened by the weight of his family's wealth and status. He could now live as he chose, without the shackles of societal expectations. Diogenes traveled to Athens, the intellectual capital of the ancient world, where philosophy was revered more than anything else. This was the home of Socrates, the man who taught that wisdom comes from self-examination, and Plato, whose philosophy would go on to define Western thought for centuries. But to Diogenes, this place of so-called wisdom was full of pretense and ego. What he saw in Athens wasn't true wisdom, it was a facade. People walked around wearing their knowledge like a badge, pretending to be wise while worshipping wealth and status. They posed as intellectuals, but in reality they were more concerned with their image than with truth. Diogenes could see right through it. This wasn't philosophy, it was ego wrapped in expensive robes. It was in Athens that Diogenes encountered Antisthenes, a student of Socrates, who taught that virtue lay in simplicity and living a life without attachment to material things. To Antisthenes, happiness was not found in possessions or status, it was found in rejecting the excesses of society and embracing a life of virtue. Diogenes didn't just agree with this idea, he became the embodiment of it. He stripped away all the trappings of a conventional life, choosing to live with nothing, yet feeling more complete than anyone around him. Diogenes didn't just reject society, he mocked it. He made a statement with every action. He gave up all possessions, choosing to live in a simple clay jar, and he didn't shy away from calling out the contradictions in those around him. When people asked him where he was from, he didn't say Sinope, his former home. Instead, he declared, "I am a citizen of the world." But Diogenes wasn't just a recluse or a hermit, he became the loudest mirror to society. His acts were not merely criticisms, they were challenges. He famously walked through the streets of Athens with a lantern, saying he was searching for an honest man. Yet, despite his search, he never found one. This was Diogenes' way of showing that, despite all the wisdom and knowledge people claimed to possess, no one was truly virtuous. When Plato defined humans as featherless bipeds, Diogenes didn't just sit back and accept this definition. He grabbed a chicken, plucked its feathers, and ran into Plato's academy shouting, "Here's Plato's man." He didn't let Plato's intellectual arrogance go unchallenged. Diogenes wasn't afraid to expose the absurdity of societal conventions and intellectual pretensions. When he saw a child drinking from his hands, Diogenes threw away his own cup and said, "A child has beaten me in simplicity." It wasn't just about the cup, it was a profound statement about the simplicity and purity that Diogenes saw in the actions of a child. His life wasn't a game of acquiring more, it was about living with less and feeling free. As Diogenes' fame spread, he became a legend in his own right. One day, the most powerful man on earth, Alexander the Great, came to meet him. Alexander, the ruler of the known world, surrounded by guards and grandiosity, asked Diogenes if there was anything he could do for him. Diogenes, unfazed by the power before him, looked up and simply said, "Yes. Step aside. You're blocking my sunlight." The moment was iconic. Alexander, the world's most powerful man, was told to step aside by a man who had nothing. In that brief exchange, Diogenes showed that true freedom didn't come from power or wealth, it came from inner independence. Alexander was reportedly so impressed that he said, "If I were not Alexander, I would be Diogenes." What made Diogenes dangerous wasn't his ability to challenge the status quo, it was his ability to live without needing anything. When you need nothing, no one can control you. Diogenes didn't chase after fame or wealth. He didn't hoard material things. He didn't filter his emotions. He used anger as fuel and discomfort as a tool for self-discipline. His success wasn't measured by how much he had, but by how little he needed to feel whole. This made Diogenes a threat to the very foundation of society. If one man could be free by letting go of everything, what did that say about the rest of the people who clung to their possessions and status? It made society question its own values, and that scared people. Because if Diogenes was right, then everything we've been taught about what we need to be happy was a lie. In today's world, we live amidst a constant barrage of noise. Advertisements tell us what we should want. Social media rewards performance over authenticity. Algorithms push us to consume more, always seeking the next trend or product. But Diogenes' life asks us to question all of this. Diogenes' life challenges us to ask, do you really need more? Or do you just need less noise? Do you live for approval? Or for peace? Is your success yours or someone else's definition? If Diogenes walked into your city today holding a lantern, would he find you? Would he find someone who is genuine, someone who had shed his pretense, or would he find someone who is desperately trying to be liked, someone who is lost in the noise? Perhaps it's time for all of us to take a moment to sit in the sunshine, let go of distractions, and say a no to the world, and yes to ourselves. Because in the end, the most powerful thing you can do is trust yourself. The world will tell you who you should be, what you should want, and how you should act. It will pull you in every direction, demanding you conform to its expectations. But true freedom comes when you stop seeking validation from others and start trusting your own voice. If you enjoy philosophical topics, hit the like button and subscribe for more stories that challenge the status quo and remind us of who we really are.